to you and welcome to Spotlight. And on Spotlight, we usually focus on current topics. And lately, everyone's talking about the port city, and many are trying to visit the port city, and they love to have a look at it, the view, and then they end up making a lot of videos. So today, we will be giving you an insight as to what you get to see when you visit the port city. And to do the honors, we have with us the right person, of course, Director Sales and Marketing, Chief Marketing Officer of Czech Port City, Colombo, Ms. Yamuna Jayaratna. A very good morning to you.
Very good morning, Sharifa.
And we're glad to have you with us on the show today.
Happy to be here.
So, my first question to you would be obviously about the port city, but let's talk about the opening and about the public response so far.
Yeah. So I think Sharifa, prior to the opening, and if you recall, some time back, especially in the Port City Economic Commission Act, which is now enacted, was gazetted, there was a lot of misconceptions about the project. There was a lot of incorrect information that was being circulated, that you need a special passport to get in, do you need to pay a fee to get in. So I think all those questions have really been answered with the public opening. Of course, it is a small section that we have been able to open so far, simply because the entirety of Port City is still very much a construction site, because the subsurface infrastructure is currently being laid in. But we have secured a certain area where sort of the Marina Promenade, where all the common area works have been completed. So this section has now been open to the public. So it is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Daily, and the public can come in. They don't need to pay any fee and enjoy the sort of new experience that Port City has to offer.
Exactly. Now, speaking about experiencing something new and what Port City has to offer, let's also highlight what people get to see when they come during this time period. Yeah.
So the section we have opened, Sharifa, is what we call the Marina Promenade, right? So this is a public walking promenade facing the marina at Port City. I think based on the feedback that we have received from the public, which I must say has been very positive overall, is the fact that they experience the quality of the common areas within Port City. So this where they are walking is literally the pavement or a walking promenade, which is on par with any cosmopolitan, world-class city anywhere in the world. And I think that was reflected in most of the comments that we received from the public. And also, I think seeing the Colombo skyline from a different perspective makes it a very interesting and unique experience.
That's because that land never existed before.
That's right. That's absolutely right. But of course, there's a lot more to come. As I had mentioned in some of my previous interviews, we have already secured an investor for the 4 parcels of land in the marina. So we expect the marina to be operational by about 2024-25, in which case the views and what Port City has to offer will see massive change in time to come.
So that we can expect in a couple of years, as you mentioned.
That's right, that's right. So we've already secured the investor for the marina, and their plans, I would say, are on schedule.
So what people get to experience right now is not the complete marina. It's just a part of it.
Just a part of it. I mean, when you walk down the Port City Marina Promenade, which is the walking area facing the marina, you get a view of the marina basin, right? You get a view of the Colombo skyline. And what it looks like from that perspective. And also you really get to experience the quality or a fraction of the quality of the type of city that we as Sri Lankans will inherit through Port City.
that I think is a luxury which people are probably looking forward to, many of them.
I think it's a extension to the city of Colombo, built to world-class standards.
And I think there are many cities like this in different countries as well, which we would talk about later on.
That's right, that's right.
Yes.
And I think we are on par with, in terms of the master planning of Port City, and in terms of the common areas of Port City and the infrastructure within Port City,
Right.
we are on par with the best metropolitan cities of the world.
And that's very promising indeed, Yamuna.
Absolutely.
And let's also talk about, social media provides a lot of information these days.
That's
so
right.
everything's just a click away. And we also did see a lot of pictures circulating on the port city and about how people thronged into this port city to have an experience, a new experience.
Okay.
So let's also talk about how people should behave when they enter the port city.
Thank you for that question, Sharifa. Of course, I am encouraged and I'm very happy to see the outpouring of interest and the outpouring of positive sentiments echoed by the public. So it's great to see that level of engagement from the public. However, having said that, there were certain incidents. I think what we as the public must be aware of is it's not just the eyes of Sri Lanka that's on Port City, and as you very rightly said, any image that you capture anywhere can circulate the world in a matter of seconds. So how we behave as Sri Lankans or as a single Sri Lankan can reflect either positively or very poorly on all of us as a nation. So I think it's very important to be mindful of how we conduct ourselves, especially in such a talked of venture where we are really trying to attract global investors to come in invest within Port City. I think it's very important that we conduct ourselves in a manner that's befitting a world-class international city.
Exactly, and I think that's a message we need to convey to the general public, and we need to treat that as a part of our country. And
it is very much a part of our country.
It is.
Port City Colombo is an extension to, I mean, we are a part of Colombo's administrative district. It is a world-class city. So I think we should be world-class citizens.
Be patriotic.
That's right.
So let's also talk about the advantages of having a project of this caliber in our country.
Oh, tremendous, Sharifa. So I mean, I would think, see, Port City is a master plan city, right? If you take the entirety of South Asia, I don't think we have a city master planned to this extent, having multiple accolades and awards for its excellence in construction and master planning in the entirety of South Asia. So here we have a very unique opportunity, right? And within this master plan city, Sharifa, there are different elements. We will very soon have a fully operational luxury leisure marina, which is going to attract the global elite who has the capacity to invest not only within Port City, but we are giving reasons for these global elites, this global yachting community, to come and birth and basically birth their boats within the Port City Marina. And if you provide reasons to attract these parties who have the capacity to invest into Port City, give them reasons to stay within Colombo, where multiple investment opportunities can be presented to them.
And give them reasons to think of Sri Lanka
Exactly.
as a destination they should
Absolutely.
visit.
I mean, you must first give reasons to attract them. Right, which is what Port City is bringing to the table. So the marina is one aspect. You can imagine the benefits that can spill over time by attracting this caliber of parties into Port City. right, or into Sri Lanka through Port City, I would say, right. Then we hope to have a international, globally reputed education brand or international school, as well as a globally reputed medical care facility within Port City.
This makes it convenient for the general public as well, instead of sending, maybe the parents sending their kids abroad to study.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, Sharifa, the other important factor is, if you take this part of the world, if you take the Indian elites, if you take Chinese elites, if you take Asia as a whole, there is tremendous demand for globally acceptable education brands. That's the type of brand that we are looking at bringing into Port City. So the establishment of that is going to bring regional ultra high net worth individuals and high net worth individuals to come and establish within Port City or establish within Sri Lanka. So when these families, I would say, establish, not only would they invest in property within Port City or even outside of Port City, they might establish their businesses, they have the capacity to invest in other industries, other businesses. So we want to bring that community that has the capacity to invest into the country, and we are providing these reasons through Port City, right? In addition to that, Sharifa, there are various hospitality projects, right? So I mentioned earlier, we have secured investment for the 4 parcels of marina land. So there's a marina hotel as well. We have secured an investor for the marina hotel as well, right? So to put it very simply, when you have a hospitality project that's going to come up, it is going to create multiple job opportunities.
I was trying to get there.
Right? It is going to create a supply chain around it, even during its construction phase, right? It is going to create a supply chain. Right, because majority of the labor, majority of the employment for all these entities and material, the entire supply chain that forms around it, Sharifa, will come from the mainland, right? This is how you will get direct, indirect and induced impact on the Sri Lankan economy from Port City.
Exactly.
It will take time, and it is a process, but the success of these elements will certainly sort of spill into the country.
So we're looking at a long-term goal.
Of course, it is a long-term goal. Rome was not built in a day.
Exactly.
That's right.
And as you mentioned, it's pretty exciting because now there are parents who don't like to send their kids abroad to study. So having that, maybe we can have them to have global standard education.
Absolutely, and I think especially in the back of the COVID pandemic, where travel restrictions come in, and it becomes very challenging to cross continents and travel the world per se. I think having a global education brand present, is going to provide ample opportunities for Sri Lankan parents who have the capacity to send their children overseas for education, to provide that global branded education within the country. And the objective is also to attract
people to come into our country for
ultra high net worth individuals or families and high net worth families to come and establish within Sri Lanka.
And also, let's talk about residences.
Sure.
How about residences for people who would like to invest and, you know, try to settle down at the Port City?
Right. Yeah. So if you take the entirety of Port City, Sharifa, the total built space upon maturity is expected to be 6.3 million square meters, right? From this 6.3 billion square meters, Sharifa, 50% of the real estate that will be built would be residential properties, right? So there will be ample opportunity for local, for Sri Lankans to invest in the ample residential properties that would be available within Port City. But also, Sharifa, I think Port City provides a unique opportunity and a unique environment to be able to attract regional demand for real estate into the country. I mean, if you take a look at the demand for real estate currently, if you take a look at some of these larger projects, main demand really comes from the local elites and the local market. But in order for the real estate sector to flourish, Sharifa, it's important that we generate regional demand. And we are very well placed to do that. And in terms of the uniqueness of the residential opportunities that are on offer, Sharifa, we have fantastic beachfront residential properties. I can't think of any city in South Asia where you have resort type living, where you have the luxury of space, you have the luxury of privacy with fantastic beach views and ocean views in the heart of a metropolitan city with all the conveniences that a city offers. So I think what Port City brings to the table, not just for Sri Lanka but to the region as a whole, is a very unique opportunity, and I believe, based on the multiple discussions we've had with potential investors, I think that opportunity is well recognized.
And you did mention that we are in par with similar projects in metropolitan countries, cosmopolitan countries.
That's right.
So cities like Dubai and Hong Kong also has similar projects. So what's the difference of Port City? You did mention about the beach view residences.
That's
What's
right.
more?
I think Sharifa, of course, if you take destinations like Dubai, or even hubs like Hong Kong, these are very, very mature markets. So it may take some time for us to reach those levels per se, but the objective of Port City is to create a city with world-class infrastructure, world-class ambience, right? Especially in the back of the COVID pandemic, Sharifa, the format of cities are now evolving. Cities are becoming greener. Cities that provide space to move, space to breathe, open air areas are becoming far more sought after than highly dense cities. Right, especially on the back of the COVID pandemic. So if you take a look at the master planning of Port City, we are very well placed to embrace the future, considering the path it's taking now. Right. So one thing I think that makes Port City rather unique, if you compare with more dense hubs like Singapore or Hong Kong, is that it's a beautiful master plan city with 1/3 of its reclaimed land dedicated for open spaces, including parks, green line streets, etc. Right. Also, the second objective of Port City is to help position Sri Lanka through Port City as a multi-services hub. Right. See, Sri Lanka strategically, if you take a look at where we are as a location, is very well placed to access South Asia. Right, we are right next to the 23rd busiest port in the world, which is the Colombo port. Right, we have very unique, very close access to our largest neighbor. Right, we are well connected with other hubs. We are right in the center of the Indian Ocean. So we are very well placed in terms of location. What was really lacking was that world-class infrastructure, right, and that sort of ambience on a clean slate to really help position us. But now we have all the right ingredients in place, Sharifa. We have the infrastructure in place. We have the city in place. The land is there. We also now have a very robust legal framework in place with the objective or geared to improve the ease of doing business within this enclave of Port City. Right, and that is one of the key objectives of Port City, with very robust investment protection, addressing areas such as expeditious dispute resolution. So we've looked, there are very, very strong salient points that are critical to drive investment into the country now in place within Port City. Right? So the foundation is in place, and I believe if we get I mean, we are working very hard to get the policies and the regulations, the right policies and the regulations in place. Once those are in place, coupled with our locational advantage, coupled with the master planning of the city, and of course, Port City is a part of Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka offers authenticity, diversity, and unique beauty as an island nation. I mean, we were before the COVID pandemic, we were the best island or the #1 island to visit in the world as per Lonely Planet. I think this was back in 2019.
Yes, it was.
Right? So imagine we have all this coupled with all those accolades that we have won, and I think that is what is going to make Port City unique.
Exactly. And now that we have come to the latter part of the program,
Sure.
people would love to know, if they visit the Port City now, what can they enjoy? Is there a place for them to maybe have their meals or something like that to enjoy?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Sharifa. I did touch on the public promenade. So,
Yes, you did.
the public promenade would really provide visitors or members of the public a flavor of what is to come within Port City. Right? What is the type of city that we as Sri Lankans are going to have in time to come? Having said that, there are certain temporary operations given to third-party operators that are already established within Port City, just to make the place a bit more vibrant. But these are paid. Because these are operated by third-party operators, these are paid facilities, right? So there is a ATV track within Port City, done by an operator called Create Adventures. So it's a very entertaining, very engaging experience, really. They did launch it fairly recently, so that is available. Then we have, of course, a company called Lanka, who has 5 or 6 catamarans berthed in Port City as it is. As you drive down Gaul Road, you'll notice these catamarans berthed within the Port City Marina. So patrons who wish to sail may make a booking or a reservation with Sail Lanka directly and enjoy those facilities. And they offer from what I know, they offer sort of cruises ranging from 1 hour to a few days, right, where you can sort of travel the island. Then we have a beach park. This was which was recently established. I don't believe the beach park has been formally launched as yet, but the beach park is envisaged to be or positioned as a interactive, family-based activity area. So here you find a cafe type food being served, as well as they are hoping to introduce various activities such as beach volleyball, kayaking, and for even smaller children, I believe they are hoping to have various activities. So I think very soon, in about a month, from what I understand from the operators, most of these activities will be available within Port City. So I think even through these temporary facilities, Colombo has become a lot more interesting
And vibrant.
and vibrant already.
Exactly. So we are certainly looking forward to it. That's within a month or 2, if I'm not mistaken. But
That's right.
even now, you get to experience a lot of things when
That's
you visit the Port City. And at the beginning, we did mention about how we need to pay more attention on how we behave as Sri Lankans. And we are actually entering a city which is looked upon globally as well.
That's right, that's right.
So with that, it's time for us to wind up this week's edition of Spotlight. Thank you very much, Yamuna Jayaratna, for joining.
Thank you, Sharifa.
And thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a pleasant day ahead.